What's up, guys? Came out here today to check out Cedar Creek Falls. So I've done Three Sisters Falls before. If you haven't been out here, it's absolutely beautiful. We're gonna check this out, and on the way we're gonna talk about how to plan a little bit more in depth your Yosemite backpacking trip. Let's check it out. First thing about planning your trip, everyone focuses on gear. Mind you, gear is really important when you're actually going backpacking. There's certain things you do need, like especially in Yosemite, you're gonna need a way to filter water, you're gonna need a backpack, you're gonna need a tent, you're gonna need a sleeping bag. But what type of backpack, what type of tent, what type of sleeping bag you need is really, preference. A lot of it's preference. For example, when it comes down to sleeping bags, some people prefer down. Down is really light and really packs really tight. On the other hand, you have synthetic blends, which, mind you, are just as light sometimes, depending on where you buy them. They're a heck of a lot cheaper. But synthetic blends, if you get them wet, they don't hold that weight, and they kind of brush off water a little bit better than down does, which soaks it in. Not even a mile in, and there's already a bench for people to sit down. Now, sleeping bags can get pretty pricey. You can get anywhere from the 200, 300 range, depending on where you're going at, down to all the way to like 20 bucks for a Coleman. You're gonna wanna spend a little bit more than 20 bucks. I got a comfort rated 40-degree bag, 3-season bag, off of Amazon for like, I think it was like 46 bucks, packed super tight. Now, when you're looking at tents, you don't wanna get too much tent for where you're going. So if you're doing more than like 5, 6, 7 miles a day, which I hope you are, you're gonna wanna get a single man tent if you're just going by yourself. It's a good idea not to go by yourself for the first time, but take someone who knows you and knows the area so they can help guide you, I almost tripped, along the way through your first trip to Yosemite. Not small as far as planning wise, and work your way up. Average pace for someone who's in okay shape, depending on elevation and things of that nature, is probably around, especially in Yosemite, you're probably going to do with stops and breaks and snacking and refilling with water. You're going to do anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes a mile. Now, it may seem like a lot, but it's easier to plan for more time than less time. Tents can get pretty pricey, so you want to make sure you shop around, find one that's right for you. If you're going with a group, don't get an extra spot in that tent, okay? If you have 3 people going, you got a 3-man tent. Have someone carry the stakes, someone carry the pole, someone carry the footprint, you know? Spread the weight around, especially if you're sharing stuff. That's the easiest way to get this stuff done. That brings me to the third main item, bear canisters. You have to have a bear canister. One person is going to need some kind of water filtration system, whether that's life straw, which I don't recommend. I highly recommend, if you're going with a group of people, get 1 or 2 water filtration pump systems. These will run you for a decent one anywhere between $89 to $110. Oh, freaking hell, gosh dang it. If you haven't checked out my video on how to actually apply for a Yosemite permit, I'm gonna link it in the card below and down below for you, so you know actually what's going on with actually how to submit for a permit. It can kind of seem like a tedious process. It's pretty easy, so check out that link. What is wrong with people? Plan it out. I highly recommend you use some kind of planning tool like Gia GPS. Gia GPS is really detailed, in-depth planning, route planning. It's got maps. You can download the offline maps on your phone, so that way they're accessible. By the way, little tip, put your phone on airplane mode. It'll last you a couple days. You can take pictures. It'll last you a ton of times, and get one of those lipstick style spare battery USBs. I've taken my phone with me on a hiking trip that was 5 days. I barely used the entire battery by the 3rd day. And then the 4th day I recharged it to full with one of those little lipstick batteries, and it lasted me the rest of the time. So plan your route out, see what it actually requires. Also take into consideration that you're going to be hiking at altitude up there, whether it's in Arsenal Adams Wilderness or Mammoth or no matter where you're at in Yosemite. Hiking at altitude is way different, especially when you're talking about elevation gain and loss. So your elevation might go up, but you'll be going up steep, or you might be going up gradually, but you're at 6,000 feet already starting. So make sure you're taking that into consideration. Also, do a test hike if you can get at altitude, but get a feel for elevation difference and elevation change. A certain grade, and what I mean by grade is how steep that incline is, how fast it goes up, how steep it goes up. The steeper the incline, the harder it's gonna be to hike. Which brings me to my next point. Do test runs. Find some grade or elevation or distance that you know will be one day. And go do a day hike, see how you do. And then from there, add your backpack. Add the weight that you think you're gonna carry. Do that on your hardest days. Find that matching elevation change, elevation difference. See if you can do it. Maybe you need to make adjustments. It's better to make adjustments beforehand than when you're on the trail. You got nowhere to put stuff and you're kind of stuck. One of the most underrated items that I think I've ever gotten. Or got? No, I'm retarded. You need to get some good trekking poles. I know, you're a man, you're woman, you're Wonder Woman, you can do it by yourself, you don't need them, trust me. I did my first Yosemite trip with a 70-pound bag, way overweight, no trekking poles, and Danner boots. I'll never do that again. Halfway there. Disposable moist towelettes. Absolute game changer for your booty. Bring them. Clothes, that's all comfort level. I personally bring a couple pairs of underwear, meaning like two, and 2 shirts, a pair of pants, a pair of shorts, and about 2 or 3 pairs of socks for about a 5-day trek. Hopefully that puts things a little bit into perspective for you about how much you don't want to bring. So I got my shoes wet. Not too happy about that. Another important thing you got to consider is rain. I recommend you guys get what's called frog togs. Put it in the description down below. Super cheap. Get them at Walmart or Amazon. I bought mine off Amazon. I think they're like 15, 20 bucks for a pair of super light, super easy to pack. It's a 2-piece poncho basically. It's a little rain suit that goes over everything. And make sure you get something to cover your bag if you don't have a bag liner so that it doesn't get wet, because you don't want all your gear to get wet. It's also going to get really cold at night. So make sure you pack some warm stuff, meaning maybe a hat. I like to bring a hat. I have a down jacket that's actually pretty packable. So at night it can get down to the high 30s. During the day, you can get to the 60s, 70s, sometimes even in the high 70s, maybe 80s, depending on where you're at. So make sure that you pack cold weather stuff, maybe some mittens, and make sure your sleeping bag is rated to a comfort rating of at least 40, I would say. Depends on how you sleep. You sleep colder, sleep warmer, adjust it as need be. Might as well just walk through this one. Half mile, almost there. How many frickin' river crossings are there? This is number 3. Just giving up. Oh, water shoes. Get water shoes. I'll put a link down below to the ones that I pack and I'll show you them later. They're freaking awesome. I'm actually gonna do a video after this, so make sure you guys subscribe and like this and follow me, because I'm gonna do a link on basically kind of a budget pack out that I do that's not too expensive, and you'd be surprised at what you find at other people's garage sales on OfferUp and stuff like that. A lot of people get into hiking and they lose it real quick and they spend a ton of money on super nice gear. Man, look at these flowers. Squirrel! A little bit of a rock scramble that we did. Not too bad. Little tiny rocks, nothing too crazy. This hike overall is pretty easy going down. Going up will be a little bit more difficult. Hey, what's up guys? Just got a little less than a mile left, headed out. That uphill wasn't that bad. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse than it was. But all of the stuff I talked about in this video, I'm gonna link below. So if you wanna know more about the Jetboil, wanna know more about GPS, stuff like that, check the links down below. Also, I'm gonna have another video coming out here soon that I'll put in a card up here right now that talks about GPS and how to actually detailedly plan out your hiking trip to Yosemite or Mammoth or wherever you're going, and just download it onto your phone and go. You don't gotta bring maps, you don't gotta bring a compass, just your phone. Until then, catch you guys next time.